Hi guys, and welcome to the second part of tutorial how to build metal detector Spirit P4 Pro. Today we will finish this metal detector and we will test it. So let's start. The first we have to upload the Arduino sketch to Arduino. We need to open the main folder we have downloaded in the previous video. In this folder we can find the Spirit P4 Pro A LCD. This is Arduino sketch. So let's open this sketch with Arduino IDE program. Before upload the Arduino sketch to Arduino, we need to include some libraries. We have included the library wire, but this library we have to download this library and install in Arduino IDE. We need to go to the program. I have menu in Spanish. Here you can find section program. Please open this and you can find here include libraries. In this manager libraries, open here, and here you have to write liquid crystal I2C like this. Liquid crystal I2C. Let's look, where is it? Okay, here. Liquid crystal I2C by Frank D. Brabander, version 1.1.2. I have installed this library. You just have to click install and it will install it in your Arduino IDE. So next step, we have to upload Arduino sketch to Arduino. This library and this library we have included with Arduino IDE, so we don't need to install them. Let's open tools, and in the tools we have in my case placa. This means board, Arduino Nano. We have to choose Arduino Nano because we use Arduino Nano. In processor I use old bootloader. Now we have to choose the port. In my case I have connected Arduino to the port COM4. I choose this and just click upload. Subido, this means uploaded. Okay, it's done. Now we have Arduino with sketch of this metal detector inside. So let's start with the main board. Okay, we have Arduino ready to use. Now we have to weld the socket because I don't want weld Arduino directly. So let's weld the sockets. Okay, it's done. Let's try Arduino in the socket. Okay, fine. We don't need these pins because we don't use them. Okay, we have to weld now the control board. I will explain you how I assemble this control board. It's very easy. You have to download the PSB of control board. Let's look in the main folder and I will explain you. Okay, in the main folder we can find PCB control. Here we have PCB. This is for build your PCB. Then we have control block diagram. This is we need. So here we connect the resistance of 10 kilo ohm, R1, R2 and 3, 10 kilo ohm here. So weld this resistance in this way, like in this schematic. Okay, then we have ground and 5 volts. I will show you where you have to connect, where you have to weld these wires in the circuit now. Okay, then we have 3 buttons: button positive, button negative and button M menu. Okay, and this is pin from button negative, this is pin from button menu, and this is pin from button positive, button negative, button M, menu, and button positive. You have to wire this in the board. I will show you where. Okay, and this is the supply for the LCD screen, 5 volts. Here we have ground, this is ground, this is 5 volts. Also this 5 volts for the supply, the LCD screen. Okay, then we have button positive here, button negative, and button menu. 3 wires, we need 3 wires, weld 3 wires here. Look at here, I have in the button negative yellow wire, in the button menu blue wire, and in the button positive I have white wire. Okay, then I have red wire in the 5 volts pin and gray wire in the ground pin. Then we have this resistance, variable resistance. Okay, this resistance for adjust the sensitivity. So we have in this resistance 3 pins. We need weld 2 pins together. It will the first wire, green wire, and another pin we have to weld to the board, and this pin also to the board. So let's see in the board. Okay, the first we need to remove the Arduino to see this. 5 volt pins we have to weld here. The ground here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pins of the ground. We have to weld the ground of one of them. So 5 volts ground, 5 volts ground, weld here, 5 volts, and ground here. Then we have the buttons, positive button, negative button, and menu button. I showed you before. We have negative button, in my case it's yellow, button menu blue, and button positive white. I have to weld them here. Okay, then we have the resistance, 2 wires of resistance. I have green wire and red wire. So the resistance R14, it's here. The first pin R14 and second R14. We have to weld this resistance, these 2 pins of this resistance here. Oh, sorry, here, 1, 2. Okay, it's very easy. Then here we have the coil, the main coil. Then we have speaker 1, speaker 2. This is 2 wires for the speaker. We need 1 speaker, this wire 1 and wire 2. Okay, then we will connect here 1 speaker. So then we have here switch and switch. These pins for connect the switch. After we have battery negative and battery positive pins. RX and TX for now we don't use, so forget these pins. Then we have SDA and SCL. These pins for the LCD screen. This LCD screen with 4 pins. I2C with the protocol I2C. We have SCL, SDA pins, the supply 5 volts and ground, 4 pins. So SDA, SCL, 5 volts and ground. But we will take 5 volts from the control circuit from here, because I will put the screen like this. Okay, so we will take the power 5 volts from here and ground from here. So now you have to make this circuit, weld the buttons and 3 resistances, weld the wires, and let's connect this control board to the circuit. Okay, we done it. We have welded all the wires from the control board. Okay, it's look like this. Now we can put the Arduino. Let's connect the switch, the battery and the coil, and let's adjust this resistance, then test this metal detector. Okay, now let's connect the LCD screen. LCD screen has only 4 pins. SDA, SCL, ground and 5 volts. Okay, I forgot, I put this Arduino, but we have here 2 wires for the LCD screen. I forget them, so let's wire these 2 pins, then connect them to LCD screen. Okay, now it's done. I connect SDA and SCL to the wire, and I will connect it to the LCD screen. So I have this is SDA from the board, from here. You can find it here. Okay. Yes, okay, here. And SCL, this is this yellow wire. So in the LCD screen, we have the same pins, SDA and SCL. So let's connect them. SDA here and at SCL here. Then we have, I take the ground from here and the 5 volts from here. The 5 volts, this one, and ground here. Okay, now we have everything, so it's will like this. Okay, next step, we have to weld the coil, the battery and the switch. Yes, now we can put the Arduino to the socket. Okay, I have welded the connector for the coil, the wires for the battery, the switch. This is switch right here, and then I have welded the speaker, this and this, and I weld the big capacitor. So now we can test it. Let's connect the battery and test. After, we have to adjust this resistance and we can use this metal detector. I use LiPo battery, 12 volts. Before the first start, we have to adjust the resistance R3. So let's do that. To adjust this resistance, we need a multimeter. We will measure volts. This is resistance R3. So we need to take the multimeter. We need to measure between the ground here and the pin 1 of this component. Here, this is pin 1. So then we have to turn until we get between this pin and the ground 8 volts. So let's do that. We need to take on the metal detector. Okay, now I will measure here and here. I have 8 volts 26, 8.26. So let's do that. Let's adjust this resistance. Okay, no, too much. Okay, no, little bit more. Don't worry, you can set 8.1, 7.9, no problem. So now, before to start, let's put this resistance for adjust the sensitivity to the minimum sensitivity. How we can know where is the position of the minimum sensitivity? The minimum sensitivity is where is the maximum resistance value. So let's measure the resistance. Okay. This is resistance R14. So let's do that. 31. So I will try this way. Okay. No. Okay. This is limit. Let's try. Okay. In this position I get the minimum resistance value. That means the resistance in the position of the maximum sensitivity. So I need to adjust this resistance to the minimum sensitivity value. This way. Okay. Now I know. Left side, this is minimum sensitivity. Right side, maximum. Okay. Now we can start. Always when you start this metal detector, you have to adjust to the minimum sensitivity. Every time when you start your metal detector, please adjust this resistance to the minimum sensitivity. In my case, it's the left side, like this. Okay. So now let's take on the metal detector and look how does it work. Okay, everything worked fine. Balancing. Okay, let's test. Okay, it works, but works very bad. Let's try put some more. Let's try put more sensitivity. No. I know what's happened. We need to adjust the resistance R16. This resistance, it's important. Here is the resistance R16, so we need to adjust this resistance. Okay, now we have to adjust this resistance. Sometimes it works with this resistance with values 20 kilo ohms, but now it doesn't work, so I need to replace this resistance by a variable resistance like this. So now I have to adjust the resistance R16. Why? Because I have very low sensitivity. How can I adjust this resistance? This resistance by default at 20 kilo ohms value. Sometimes it works with this value, but in this case it doesn't work. So I have to remove this resistance and put in this place the variable resistance with 100 kilo ohms and try to adjust. When I get good sensitivity, I will measure the value of the variable resistance. Then I will know the exact value of this resistance. Okay, let's adjust the resistance R16. So the first what we have to do is adjust to the maximum value this resistance. How we can do that? The first, just choose the direction. For example, I will choose clockwise. So I will turn until the limit. Okay, this is the limit. So now we have to adjust this resistance also to the minimum sensitivity. In my case, minimum sensitivity, this is counterclockwise here. Okay, now it's adjusted. Okay, now we have to take on the metal detector. If we get long balancing time, we have to change this maximum value to the counterclockwise in my case, because this is the wrong value. If we get short balancing time, so this means we are on the right way. So let's try this. It starts balancing, so we get long balancing time. We are on the wrong way. It's long balancing, so let's take off the metal detector. So now let's turn to the counterclockwise until limit. If we get short balancing time, it's okay. Okay, let's try now. Take on the metal detector. Okay, did you hear that? This means the balancing time is short, so it's okay. So now we have to turn clockwise this resistance until metal detector start detect something. Okay, here let's turn a little bit more. Okay, here now. Okay, now make sure the sensitivity value and the minimum value. Okay, yes, it's okay. And now take on the metal detector. Okay, now it's long balancing time. It's good because we adjust the metal detector. So let's try. Okay, it works. It has a good sensitivity. Okay, let's try €1 coin. Nice. Okay, that's all. Now we have the metal detector. We have adjust the sensitivity. So that's all. Please give me your like, subscribe to my channel, and see you in the next video.